this?
Welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
Welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
My internet is terrible tonight.
For once, it's you, not me. How we doing, Andy, mate? What's happening? It's Thursday, 9 o'clock. Bosh.
Bosh, indeed. I'm just, do you know in StreamYard when you see like the little bars going up and down, it's just literally like that every 2 minutes. So
I see it every week.
Listen, my adoring public's not going to see this face in high definition tonight, but I'm sure you'll all survive. How are you, Charlie?
I'm all right. I've been travelling all week, so I'm kind of missing the wife, missing the kids. So I've decided to call you tonight.
Mate,
and engage with you and the lovely people of YouTube.
You're in my homeland, I believe.
I am. Yes, I'm in Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, Glasgow.
Northern Ireland, Glasgow. That's the one. Yeah. No, I love it in Glasgow. It's good. I'm in a hotel room. I travel home tomorrow afternoon. So, but yeah, it's really good. My internet's really good. He says, touch wood. So I might just travel up here every Thursday. I might just travel up here every Thursday, do the show, and then travel back home.
Standard.
But we've got it's two of us again tonight. We've got no Tom because he's off doing, I don't know, he's getting married or something. So he's doing
wedding things,
wedding prep or whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. But the chat is, we got 14 thumbs up. The chat is absolutely buzzing already. Who have we got? We've got the fantastic Fuzzy Dumnut. Watch your humanoids. Word to your mother. Yes. We've got everyone's favourite ding dong. It's Chris Bell. She says, hi, Mr. Fuzzy. We've got the one and only Darren, aka the fantastic optimist. Hey up, son. We've got Leon Russell, Evening Killers. She's a good lass, Chris. There we go, Fuzzy Dunlop. We've got Mrs. Connie Dalton is in the house. Yo, how's it going, fellas? All the better for seeing you in the chat, people. We have the number one sexiest man on YouTube. It's the one, the only Mark Oldroyd. Killers Ahoy, what is happening? Who else have we got? That's it. And this we've got, we've got Gary Mellows Facer. Evening, sir. Thank you for joining. We have a fantastic show lined up for you this week. We do, don't we, mate? Eh? We do. Yes, we do.
It's Thursday. Thursday's our night. Let's do it.
Right. Right. Go on. You've already told me you've got a load of stuff to get through, so we might as well just sit back for 20 minutes while you go through your lovely deliveries. So
listen,
crack on.
I watched last week's show and I did notice that last week's show ended 35 minutes earlier than it normally does. So I think most of that was because I didn't have stuff to show off, but I've saved it up for you guys.
Nice.
And hopefully my internet lasts. But the first, I'm going to show something that I'm going to blame the Poptimist completely, 100%. Darren's fault. This
look at that.
Is stick some bunny ears on me. I went down this rabbit hole and I completely blame the Poptimist. So I picked up Star Wars fig pin of Princess Leia because my daughter is named after Princess Leia.
As soon as we was on the coffee club when he was talking about fig pins and your ears perked up and you was like, oh, so what's the price of this? I knew, right, that was it. I knew that was
Listen,
it.
I've also ordered up a Darth Vader as well, so there's no end to it. But that was my first pickup. We went there. I don't know. I can't remember if I showed that the last time that I was on. This one here. So this is Witchblade. This is issue number 129. And the significance of this book is that this is the first cover art by John Tyler Christopher.
Nice.
So this comes in this version, and there's also a Chicago Wizards special as well, which is a little bit more expensive. But the only difference is it's got the logo up here at the top left-hand side. So, yeah, first JTC cover art there.
Triple G's just asked what a fig pin is, and it's basically a figurine pin. I only own one of them, and again, it was the lovely man Poptimist who sent me a Venom one, and I've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones on order, so I'm looking forward to them arriving.
Yeah,
They are
it's definitely the quality is fantastic. You can see there, it comes in its own plastic case, and it's a nice display piece. So you don't necessarily need to take it out. So yeah, delighted with that. So happy to pick that up.
And should he be buying them? I would say so, Triple G. I would say so. Yes.
So I think we should start everybody buying these, and I was talking to Dan to try and see if we can get someone to distribute them to the UK, and we can start the Fig Pin Optimist.
There you go. Look,
I just completely made that up there.
Pinfluencer. There we go.
Influencer, there we go. So I'm going to start with Star Wars. As you know, my pool list is pretty heavy Star Wars. So again, John Tyler Christopher picked up Star Wars issue number 22. The JTC action figure variant. I only have the action figure variants on this run, so I think that's me pretty much get every one of them, hopefully. I've got Star Wars Crimson Reign, issue number 4. So this has been a really good series, worth picking up. There's only one more issue to go in this, and I pick up the cover A, and I also pick up the Raza connecting variant covers. So I'm looking forward to getting the last one and seeing what this looks like all connected up.
Nice.
We've got Bounty Hunters issue number 21 and issue number 22. Again, just a series that I'm stacking at the minute, and once it's finished, I will give it a read.
You really do love your Star Wars, don't you? Like I can say, like that is.
Dude, there's about 7 or 8 long boxes full of the stuff. So yeah, that was my first love, as it were.
Wow.
We've got Darth Vader issue number 21 again, and issue number 22 again. I haven't read the recent volume, just stacking them, and I will read them all at once. Dr. Aphra, another great series. I've been collecting this since volume 1, and before she became popular. But as soon as Dr. Aphra appears in the Star Wars universe, I'd say our first appearance will go through the roof.
Regarding the fig pin, again, the conversation is going mad. You started something now.
Nice. What have we done?
New quality case, display well, freestanding, not currently available readily here yet. But they are in talks with Forbidden Planet and HMV.
Oh, that's just completely instantly put me off.
I did not want to hear. Oh,
No.
There's a Forbidden Planet at the end of my bloody road. So, there we go.
I like to receive this in one piece.
He's got himself a hashtag. Cheers, Darren. I'll look into this. Also, random question. Is it a good idea to pre-order stuff on eBay, or am I going to get ripped off? I want a 1 in 25 variant and can't find a shop that's eligible, and your probs know better than me. What comic is it, Connie? Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know. Our good friends at Galactic Comics should probably be able to help Connie out. Otherwise, I have got a few suggestions as well. So just let us know which one it is, Connie.
And then he's already the hashtag chomp pusher in his influence is broad. I'm not sure if that's what Darren's wife calls him, or if he's been given that name by the community. But either way, I absolutely love the hashtag chomp pusher.
Listen, that was his hashtag name at Thought Bubble.
And the fellow Funko Pop collector is the chomp pusher as well. There we go. Look, I'm big time. Nobody knows it yet. There we go. Continue, sir. I do apologise.
No, not at all. Not at all. We've got this bad boy here. Now, this is the second print of Halcyon Legacy. Easy for me to say. So the first printing of this was just a white cover, and this is obviously the black cover. It's going to be a hard 9.8 if anybody decides to send this off for grading. But the completionist in me could not help but pick this up.
Of course.
Have we got time for some more? I've got lots more to show here,
guys. Go for it. We're here all night.
Nice House on the Lake, issue number 8. Fantastic run. I haven't read this yet. I don't know if you've read it yet, Charlie. Is it good?
I'm up to date with it. I love it.
Is it good? Nice.
It's James Tony at its best.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. I've obviously read issue 1 to 7, but I'm looking forward to reading that one. We can't do a Killer Comic show without mentioning the fabulous Jenny Frisson. That's Jenny Frisson. And if you are not picking up her Catwoman run, then I don't know what to say. The interesting thing about this particular cover is they actually change. I don't know how bad my internet is at the minute, so apologies. Let me know in the chat, guys, if it's horrible, and I'll do a reset. Listen, the more you don't see this, the better. So the original and the FOC when this came out for Final Order Cutoff, they've actually darkened the top, so it was actually a lot more see-through, and you could see her.
You could see her underneath, yeah. Because Tom picked this as cover of the week last week, and the chat were like, "Oh, we're so done with Jenny Frison covers. They're so boring now. They're so over it." And I see this cover in Forbidden Planet today, and I was like, "That's not the same. It's not the same cover. Like they've totally changed it."
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, it's Jenny Frison at its best. I mean, it kind of puts the focus on the face and the eyes and stuff like that. But yeah, there was a lot more less the imagination on the original one.
So Connie's come back and said the Peach Momoko variants for issue 2 of both the new Captain America series. So it's really two comics. Haha! I saw them on Twitter and now I'm obsessed. And then Poptimus said Connie's at the Falcon and Cap headshot ones. They are stunning. I'll reach out to Galactic Comics for you and see if they reach the quota for the 1 in 25s. And then if they didn't, if they've still got some left over, I'll see what we can do for you.
And if that's not successful, then I might be able to have a look on the US eBay, because I know that I've been able to pick up some 1 in 25s and 1 in 10s for myself and Charlie quite cheap over there. Get it sent to my stack rate, and then I can obviously pass them on to you, Connie. So we'll get you sorted. Don't worry. Next up, we've got Women's History Month. Magic is Joan of Arc cover. This is I'm just having a brain fart. Anybody? It'll come back to me the name of the artist. Irish artist. We spoke about him. We love him. He was due to come on the show. Charlie, come on, help me out.
Declan Shalvey.
Yes, Declan Shalvey. How can I forget? So yeah, I love this cover. Although in the original Final Order Cutoff, it didn't have this gold or sort of black and gold border. And I must admit, I prefer it without the border. I think it kind of ruins it a bit. But I was happy enough to pick that up for the collection. We've got Little Monsters, issue number 2. Again, a great series that we've been reviewing.
I've got 3 of them at home.
You've got 3 of them? Oh, standard.
No, I meant the kids, My Little Monsters, not the comic.
Oh, right, okay. I actually thought you meant 3 of the same cover because I know you.
You know what? I'll probably have, mate.
DC versus Vampires, issue number 6. I haven't been reading it. I'm just stacking the Francesco Mattina covers because they're all absolutely spectacular. You can see that one there.
Yeah,
it's superb.
The story is
Something's killing. Is it good? Have you been reading it?
Yeah, I've actually quite enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, going through it myself. As you can tell, I'm sort of stacking all these books, not getting time to read them because I'm literally only reading the stuff that we're reviewing for the show. So, Something's Killing the Children, issue number 22. Again,
the Casey Jones kind of vibe to it.
It's class. How cool is it? It's Jenny Frison, obviously. So I got the original, and then there's the bloody variant.
Where are they from?
Subby Comic.
Are they standard covers? Were they standard price or were
they those were standard price covers. I think the 1 in 25 and the 1 in 50 was what is behind this cover. So you obviously lift the mask up, which I can do in a wee second.
Yeah.
Batman Beyond the White Knight, issue number 1.
Tom mentioned that if you look at the red wings, they're like a gloss, and you've got number 2 as well.
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah, and this was actually a hard issue to pick up. So it was. Apparently, it was under order. Oh yeah. Nice. I picked up the 3rd pack of the David Mack Something's Killing the Children covers. So this is issue number 11 to 15. I think this is the final pack. No doubt once they've got more issues, they'll bring out more. But these covers are
great.
And this is the one I think that won it for
Tom. Yeah.
Tom. So I was happy to pick these up. Again, speaking of Tom, Tom was gracious enough to send me Snow Angels Volume 1 by the fantastic Jock. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this. And I think there's been a few issues with getting the book plates and stuff like that. So I know that he's trying his best to get those, and as soon as they arrive, he'll obviously send those on as well. But thank you, Tom, for sending that on.
I made my own book plates on Photoshop, and I'm selling them 30 quid each if anyone wants to buy them.
Only if you sign them, though.
Yeah, they're signed by me and Hock. Not sure. By Hock.
Is that like a cheap version of Jock? Jeez.
Yeah, it's the bootleg one.
Final issue of The Last Ronin. It's been, this
In
feels
2
as if it's
years.
been years
Yeah, it
on
has
my pull list, and it was just nice to be able to stop it, unsubscribe, and then take one off my list. So looking forward to getting stuck into this. I think I've only read issue 1 and 2, and I'm looking forward to getting caught up.
Nice.
That was me, guys.
Is that it?
That's it, mate. Not much.
Okay. Well, I'm literally, I ain't got a lot. I'm in Glasgow today, and when I travel to Glasgow and Manchester, I always make an effort. I always go to Travelling Man in Manchester, and fantastic guys there. One of them's he's a subscriber of the show, and as soon as I walked in, he was like, "Dude, I ain't seen you in ages. Like, how's the show going? Everything. I check him when I can." And I was like a bit starstruck. I was like, "Really? Okay." So picked up a few just like normal comics that were on my pull list and stuff. But then came to Glasgow last night, headed to A1 Comics today, went to Forbidden Planet. Weren't really nothing there, like nothing at all. All comic books are just all stacked, no bloody bagged and boarded or anything like that. So I was kind of like, look, I'm not picking up anything here. Headed to A1 Comics, absolute gem. This store is a wonderful little find. It's great. Amazing. They've got like boxes and boxes of like back issues that you can just scroll through. They're £2 a comic or £6 for a tenner. So I was like, right, I've got some time to burn. Let's have a look. Picked up some absolute beauties, and I will be going back tomorrow to pick up more.
And before you start, so A1 Books and Comics is my favourite comic book store in Glasgow. It is superb, well worth a look. It's on Parnay Street in Glasgow, and fun fact, it's where they shot some of the Batman movie. Yeah, just on that street. So there we go.
And it was because you can tell because it looked like really like downtown Gotham.
That's just Glasgow. Come on, stop it.
It was all right. But so I went there, I picked up a few things. I didn't really have in mind what I was going to pick up and get, but I managed to find some amazing things. So up first is, I've been collecting these for a while, the DC and Hanna-Barbera crossovers. So I've got the Catwoman and Sylvester. I think I've got the Daffy Duck and Joker. I'm adding to this with the Superman and Top Cat issue.
Do you have the Elmer Fudd?
No, I don't have the Elmer Fudd. Is it Elmer Fudd? It's Elmer Fudd and Batman, isn't it?
You do now.
Oh, look at that. Look, absolutely amazing. But these are going for silly money on eBay. Like silly money.
Oh, maybe you don't.
I'll let you know how much they're going for once you send it. So I got that one, Superman and Top Cat. And they're good stories as well. Like I enjoyed reading them. And then I also picked up Deathstroke and Yogi Bear.
Nice.
These are £2. This is a Tyler Kirkham.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah. So these were £2. Then I picked up a nice Greg Horn Deceased issue number 1. I was like, oh, okay. So I picked up 2 of them. I'm going to go back tomorrow and pick up maybe another 2 or 3 of them because they're gorgeous covers and I really like them.
They're nice, yeah. Those were only £2.
They were £2. And I asked the guy behind the till and I said, have you got any more of them? And he was like, well, we might have the Virgin covers as well. So, and they're only £2 as well, which actually seems mental. And then last but no means least, I've fallen in love with her work over the last couple of weeks. No, it's not Jenny Frisson. It's the one and only Rose Besh.
Nice.
Again, a £2 still. £2. So I'm going to go back because £2. They've got another couple of Rose Besh covers for future states. I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to pick up, have a further look and see if they've got any more of the like the Looney Tunes crossovers and stuff. But because I've been
I reckon what you should do tomorrow, Charlie, is go live on the old IG and just take orders for everybody.
Yeah, why not? Because I might do because the one I'm looking for is the Jonah Hex and I think it's Yosemite Sam. And I think it's the Lex Luthor and Porky Pig.
I think I might have that one. if you can't find it.
Look, you absolute gentleman. But that's all I picked up, and I absolutely loved. Right, I'm definitely going to go back there tomorrow before my flight home. I'm going to go back and have a look.
And on that street, at the end of that street, there's a little games workshop and sort of model toy place as well. If you're into all that, so you should check that out as well.
Because they're called A1 Toys, so they don't just do comics; they do like toys. They've got a vast array of toys, man. I think like Triple G and everyone would fall in love with how many toys they've got. So maybe I'll head back there tomorrow and just do like a quick little walkthrough. Why not?
Killer Comics group outing to A1 Books and Comics in Glasgow. Everybody's invited. Let's do it.
Yes, but that's me. Right, and so the chat is still kicking off. It says Connie said that Something's Killing the Children cover is sick. Looks like the Cat one is a regular release, the Falcon and 125 June release on Golden Apple Comics in the US. So if you do need that, either reach out to myself or Andy. If you did want that, Connie, we can add it to our stack crew and then just get it sent over if we can't find you one in the UK. Good question, Andy. Do you get payment every time you say Jenny Frisson?
No, but I just got a fuzzy feeling inside, Leon.
Got a fuzzy feeling, and that's not just your internet. No, it's not. Your net is fine, Andy. Right, okay. And Triple G just bought 4 original TM. See what I mean? Look, this is literally like within seconds. Triple G
#Pinfluencer.
He's literally done it, and he look. Darren, my wife would like a word with you. There we go. Look, Peter, you wasted no time getting in it. He didn't. Honestly, he'll have a video out tomorrow. Guarantee. Apologies.
And I'll probably get the blame because he blames me for all his videos and stuff that he picks up.
But yeah, so that's the pickups. And should we get into the comic business? Let's get into the business side of things, right?
The business
side. Let's get down to business.
I almost forgot that this was what we done in this show, that we actually have to review books and stuff like that. I was having too much fun chatting and showing off stuff.
Here we go. Look, hashtag is Andy's fault. Andy's fault. Right, here we go. This is the killer covers for April 27th. That was yesterday. There were some covers out. Should we have a look what everyone picked? Right. Up first, I've gone for the Amazing Spider-Man issue #1. I've gone for the Art Germ Collectibles Black Cat variant. There's about 5 covers out of like these different variants. You've got the Mary Jane variant, you've got the Black Cat, and then you've got the half and half, which I picked up as well. This for me is just stunning. I quite like Art Germ's work. I think he's amazing. I've been following him and Cal Engo on Facebook, and there's been quite good banter between them. Like, Cal Engu's been holding up Art Germ comics saying, I need this one for the collection. And then Art Germ's been holding up Cal Engu comics saying, I need this one for the collection. And they've done a nice exchange. Like, they've swapped over the comics and stuff. This one, Art Germ, if you're listening, please send me this one because this is amazing. Like, this is, for me, one of the most realistic comic covers I've seen. I'm a massive Warren Lowe fan, and he does ultra realism. This is great. Like, I absolutely love this. The use of the webs over her modesty is very well received. Love that. And look at the
absolutely stunning, that cover. Again, it's one of those ones where the eyes would follow you, you know, anywhere that you go. My only listen, I'm going to try and be as positive as I possibly can until we get to some of the book reviews, which hold on, we've got lots to say. The Art Germ stuff, if you look a lot of his sort of face figures like this,
yeah,
a little bit samey. I don't know. I'm just like, you know, I was looking at the Art Germ Thor, you know, the one where he's got his hammer and it says Thor in front of it. You know, stick a wig on him. You know, they could be the same. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I do understand it, and I think a lot of them have their own style and they kind of just stick to that. But this is great. Like, I literally, again, if I can find this, I'm getting it because it's awesome.
Apparently, this guy knows a guy.
This guy knows a guy. This guy knows a guy. Look at that. Look, there we go. David, thank you very much for joining us. We've got something special for you later anyway, but it's going to be a good one. So yeah, this is my cover of the week. This is the Amazing Spider-Man issue #1, Art Germ Collectibles Black Cat variant cover.
Good pick.
Then we got yours.
I went something a little bit different this time. There was a lot to choose for this week for comic covers, but this one spoke to me. I think this is gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. It's not spectacular, blow me away artwork, but it just has got. I feel as if I'm in this book. I feel as if I'm in Times Square, and I'm walking across the road, and I'm just behind this guy here. Justice League number 75. This is the 1 in 25, the male cover. There's lots of things in this book that you could spend lots of time looking at it, picking out the little details. The way that he or she, they are holding the person's hand, which looks to not be of a human nature, let's just say. You've got the backpack with the various Justice League emblem badges on it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And then you've just got the use of color. The color is almost radiates off this page, and I just think it's superb. It's something different, something I don't normally go for. And as I say, it spoke to me. So Justice League number 75 is my killer cover.
You know what? I like the fact that the use of rain in this cover is amazing.
Subtle. It's very subtle, and it almost feels as if it's hitting you in the face. Because when you start at the top, you can obviously you just feel it's. I don't need to oversell this, but I'm going to because I really need to win. So, guys, Justice League number 75 is probably the killer cover that you want to pick today.
It is. It's great. It is nice. And then we've got this one. Tom has picked this, The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1. This is a J. Scott Campbell exclusive cover C variant cover. This one, I've already pre-ordered this one. I literally had to get this. I'm going for a J. Scott Campbell phase where I'm falling in love all over again because the stuff he does is amazing. Everyone said it looks like Disney-esque, but if it ain't broken, don't fix it. This is amazing. This looks great.
Spectacular. I think this came as like a 7 or 8 cover set that you could only get through J. Scott Campbell's website. So that was the reason why I didn't get it. It was just a little bit too expensive for me. But the detail in this is spectacular. It's obviously just that one tone color. But I think it works because it makes the character pop on the page, and just the detail of all the other characters behind it is absolutely superb.
It is a great cover, and I think Thomas picked a good one here. And unfortunately, if he wins this week, he won't be here to accept it, so it will be void. So it'll have to go to a second place.
What? Oh yeah, because last week you didn't show my cover. I noticed.
Honestly, we went through the chat. You didn't send a cover. There weren't no cover. But so we'll have a quick overview. So we've got number 1, The Amazing Spider-Man art germ, fantastic, incredible, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles-esque type of feel here. Looks absolutely amazing. And then we have the J. Scott Campbell issue number 1 for Spider-Man. So the vote is live on YouTube at the moment. So head over to there, and we will see at the end of the show who wins. And as usual, wins nothing, just goes up on the leaderboard. But there we go. And what have we said so far? So the chat says she's fine. I guess you're talking about Black Cat. With Mr. Lau has killed it with that. Beautiful. Look at the detail in her hair. That's amazing. Oh my God. David has said he might know a guy who runs the Art Germ Collectibles. We'll definitely be tapping you up for that information. Art Germ covers are always some of my favorites. Snap Fuzzy, Sell. The ref has stopped the fight. Art Germ has cleared up. Wow. Lovely stuff. Really like the one she pops. So there we go. So there's some good covers this week, and it's going to be interesting to see who it is. And it's all square at the moment, so we will see later on in the show who wins. But Andy, have you got something to say?
I think it's maybe time to review.
There we go. And as if by magic. So this is week 16. As always, we review the comics from last week. Up first, we have what have we got this week? We've got We Live, Age of the Palladions, issue number 2, which Tom picked from Aftershock Comics. We've got the fantastically scary Shit Yourself If You Don't Like Clowns horror, cancelled, written by David Byrne, who is in the chat, and this is from Black Caravan Scout Comics. And then we have Slumber, issue number 2 from Image.
Buckle up, guys. I have a lot to say.
Up first, so this was my pick. We have Slumber, issue number 2. written by Tyler Burton Smith, art by Vanessa Cardinali. This is by Image Comics. The main cover is by Tony S. Daniel, and the cover B is by Becky Cloonan. When we first chose this issue number 1, I loved it because it's kind of like a grown-up take on Monsters Inc. Kind of like a bit of Ghostbusters type of feel and stuff like that. But I loved it, and I really like the artwork of it. I really like the story. It's a fun story. It's not going to win any awards, but it's freaky. And you know what? It's very much like I Hate Fairyland. I'm a massive I Hate Fairyland lover, like the way that the art's drawn and the way the story's told and stuff. And this is very much like it. It's kind of portrayed in a more adult way that it's done. But I'm really enjoying this story. It kind of tells the story of a person that they're having nightmares and they don't know how to get rid of their nightmares. So they go to the nightmare killer, as it were, who kind of jumps in, links you up to this machine. She jumps in through the door, goes in, gets rid of the evil that you're having nightmares, clears you, and then you're on your merry way. Then you're on your way. But what
it's the adult Monster Inc., isn't it? That's pretty much
like they walk through the door, they collect your nightmares, and then they come back. It's just basically reversed. Instead of giving the nightmares, they're kind of taking them away. And we kind of find out a bit more about the main character. She's lost her daughter, so she's constantly searching for something that's either taken her daughter or killed her daughter or knows where her daughter is. We're not really at that part of the story yet, but I'm really liking it. Like, it's honestly, it's really enjoyable, and it's like twists and turns in there. You don't really know what's going to go on. Like, you got the police chasing like one angle, you got the dream catcher chasing the other angle. It's a fun story. It's not going to win awards, but it's enjoyable. I think like the way that they use the color, the artwork in it, it is very I Hate Fairyland-esque, but I think
it suits the narrative. I think, though. Yeah. I think like that page that you've chosen there on the left hand side, it's quite a shocking page, you know, because there's like the real quality about this book is a really good story. It keeps you engaged. It's got the right level of humor. The artwork fits the narrative, and there's shock moments. So when you're turning that page and you see that, it's kind of takes you, and it's one of those pages where it's like kind of like car crash TV. You can't stop but have a wee look and, you know, check out each of the legs and different body parts that are there. I thought this was a really fun read. I wasn't too sure what to expect going into issue number 2, but I was pleasantly surprised how the story flowed really quite well, and kept me wanting more. So yeah, for me, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was just as good, if not better, than issue 1.
Oh, wicked. So you liked it. So that's it's always a good thing when I pick a comic that you like. It's always interesting because I love the covers for it as well. Like this, I've picked up like the main cover for both of them, but I'm really like, I love my Fairyland. Like, I Hate Fairyland. So to be able to read this when there is a new I Hate Fairyland coming out, and it's only available on the what's the payment? Is it Substack?
Yeah.
It's only available on there. So for this to be able to be read is good, because like I'm not going to be paying for another subscription like Substack and stuff like that. So until it becomes available, this will suit my needs.
No, I would definitely recommend anybody to pick this up. It is a good quality read. You know, it's almost like a welcome relief to some of the other stories. You know, you maybe read it, I don't know, something like Last House or Nice House in the Lake, and you know, it can be a little bit, you know, it kind of drags on, and you've got to concentrate. This one, you don't really need to concentrate. Before you know it, you've turned to the last page, and it's rereadable. It's one of those ones where you could happily go back and just enjoy it again. So I think if you haven't picked up the first couple of issues yet, it may be one of those ones, I think, like Connie said, where you're going to wait till the trade comes out. I think this would be a perfect book for the trade. I think it'd be a really fun read from start to finish.
I think it'd be great because I think you'll get some little extras in there as well, which is always good. And Fuzzy Dunlop said, "I've wanted to read I Hate Fairyland, just never got around to it." It's great. It's just full of like laughter in it. It's totally messed up. It's hilarious. So yeah, if you're going to read that, I'd read this as well.
I want a proper like character profile one shot of Slumber. So I'd like to get a little bit, you know, backstory about each of these characters, especially like the ghost. I was going to say the ghost catcher, like the dream catcher, as it were, or nightmare catcher. I think that character is one that could be really developed, and it feels a little bit like Erica Slaughter-esque. You know, you could see all these characters going into different stories and stuff.
That's what we spoke about. I think for issue number 1, we were saying this was very Erica Slaughter-esque. So you can kind of see, like, I'm loving the way that there's so many like vicious women that are taking over in comics right now. Like,
Absolutely.
yes, loving it. I'm all for this. I'm definitely going to be reading it until it finishes, and I'll be picking up the trade as well, because I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to seeing, like, when I turn over to this page. This page was like page number 4 on the left hand side. I was like, whoa, weren't expecting that, but it's
and I think the protagonist in this, I'm kind of unsure like who the baddie is. It could be one of many characters, and I think that's maybe where the story is leading to, is that what is the ultimate nightmare. You know, that's what you'll have to face at the very end. So yeah, I'm definitely in for issue number 3 to see where this goes.
Get in straight off the bat. That is a killer.
Killer.
Right, what we got next? Oh, right, before we do this, right, so this is what we've got, but just to get you in the mood, guys.
Listen, whoever does the marketing, top job. I didn't see that video before I picked this as my pick of the week. I based this solely on the main cover by Freddie Barbales. Hadn't seen any other covers, hadn't even read the synopsis of it. I just seen that scary ass clown and thought, you know what, I'm all in. And then I suddenly went, oh, we can't review this. Tom's going to absolutely hate this. Tom detests clowns, but I still picked it.
No, I was talking to David, who's literally, there we go. That was it. You want to know?
Nice work.
There we go. There's the writer of the comic. Thanks for dropping in, David. But yeah, I reached out to him and was like, look, we're reviewing Cancelled number 1. Have you got any promo videos we can play? I wanted to shit up Tom more than anything. And I think it kind of worked. But like Connie said, I had earphones in, and even though I knew the beat drop was coming, it still made me jump.
I was exact same.
That's the sign of a good promo. If you know that something's coming and it still scares the shit out of you. And there we go. Look, that Marco Turini exclusive is so spooky. It's amazing. But yes, there's 8 covers. I think there's like 12 covers plus store exclusives, but I only managed to get 8 on the page. So do you want to go through them, Andy?
Yeah, mate, I'll run through them. Yeah, there was some absolutely fantastic covers here. So there's a 1 in 25 Zoo variant, which is beautiful. We've got the Black Cape Comics Francesco Mabili variant, which is the first time I'm seeing this, and it's absolutely beautiful, but quite scary at the same time. We've got the Carnivore Comics Marco Tannini exclusive, which is all the scary that Tom, I'm going to probably pick up for Tom. We have the 1 in 10 Ed Bickford variant, which, you know, when you read the story, you get lots more appreciation for all these covers because it just links in fantastically. We've got the Royal Collectibles Vincenzo Riccardi exclusive, which is superb. We've got the Yellow Snow Comics, great name, with the Lip Wee.
I love that cover.
Lip Wee Chang.
It's very Derek Chew-esque.
It is. It is. It's got anything with a selfie, you know, I'm all for it. And then you've got the Slab City Comics Uzan exclusive variant, which looks a little bit like a sort of It homage, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, we could probably just end it there, and everybody just should go run out and buy this comic. So where do we go with this one? Obviously, when we're reviewing a comic and the writer or the artist drops into a chat, there's probably people in the chat that's going, do you know what? They're just going to say lots of nice things about it. but you know, with the Killer Comic Show, that's not how we rock and roll. The thing is, with this book, I've got pretty much nothing but good things to say about it. It was everything that I expected. It was everything that I wanted in a comic, but it just added that little bit more that made it different from all those other one-shot potential horror comics that included clowns, and we've read quite a few of them on this. So synopsis, it kind of opens up, and it's a sort of 1960s kids children's show, and you've got a character, he reads stories called Larry, and it kind of, I felt familiar because Larry gets sacked, he's down in his luck, you know, his show's getting poor ratings, and the day of the last broadcast of the show, he has a complete and utter meltdown. He's had enough.
That's to put it mildly.
Yeah, that's to put it very mildly. And he swears revenge on every parent who's complained about the show and has basically gotten taken off the air. And I think I picked a couple of pages, Charlie. I don't know if you can bring those up.
Yeah.
So this is where he goes out to seek revenge. He's walking, he's feeling sorry for himself, and he suddenly starts to attack the TV station aerial thing that you can see there on the page. And this was one of my favorite pages. This is superb. If this isn't, David, you heard this first. If you get a second print, which you probably will, make this a variant cover. I think this is absolutely stunning. If we could see this in color, or even just a foil variant.
Oh, with
good Lord. Stop. David, you heard it here first. Foil variant of this cover would be absolutely superb.
You know what I like about the things that you've picked, though, right, is the BBC. Now, obviously, in England, BBC is the British Broadcasting Company.
That's right.
Byrne Broadcasting Company. I loved it. I didn't notice that until I looked at the BBC and was like,
listen, if you're going to write your own book, you're going to like sway that ego a little bit and call the corporation after yourself. That's the way to do it. But poor Larry manages to electrocute himself. Listen, did he electrocute himself? You can see on that page. It was fantastically drawn, and you can feel the pain that he's going through. And this is where it kind of takes a bit of a left turn. And again, it felt very familiar, but the way that the story is set up, it just felt really new and something fresh take on it, because he effectively becomes this clown, and he still, when he's doing these, he still goes on the show and he's still talking to the kids, but he's got that evil-esque sort of, you know, do you want to play a game type thing? And again, it feels like we've seen this before, so like you know, you're not reinventing the wheel here. But I don't know about you, Charlie, but it is when you turn the page and you realize that this was just part of a movie, that all of a sudden there's a new artist doing the artwork, which kind of stops you in your tracks, and you go, what's going on here? And this new artwork, along with this realization that this story is actually based like a movie that somebody's watching, and then they go home from the movie, but it's still relating to the clown, because the kids have been watching TV, which then goes into this Japanese sort of manga-esque page on the right-hand side, again by a different artist from the previous two that we've seen. And it just shows you how the character, the clown, is linked in through all these different media types, through all the different periods of time. And I just thought that was something so fresh and something that I hadn't really heard or seen before. That's what made this comic for me. What do you think, Charlie?
I can't really add much to this other than the fact is, it's not a new concept. They're not, like David hasn't reinvented the wheel here. We've seen this before with Joaquin Phoenix playing a Joker, like he's down on his luck. He's been told that he's going to be made redundant, so he kind of takes matters into his own hands. And there's essences of that. There's essences of ha-ha in this as well. Again, the clown and everything loses his job. For me, this story stood out because you think you're reading a comic and then you realize you're seeing it through the eyes of someone who's watching a movie, who's come out of the cinema with his wife. He's having a go at her because he's like, oh my God, next time I'm picking the movie. Like, I'm picking it. Next time I go and see something else. Then when they get home, they find out that their daughter's been up all night with the babysitter. She's been eating ice cream, so she can't sleep. So she's rabbiting ears off and stuff like that. And then you kind of find out that she's watching TV, and it's kind of like, the movie that they were watching is becoming real life, and you're part of this story because you've watched the film by reading the comic, you've lived the life when they're walking out. It was so well done, and every time I turned the page, I was like, "Oh my god, this story is continuing! It's continuing! It's continuing!" It was superb. It was superb how it was done.
The reader becomes the fly in the wall for this book,
Yeah.
and the brilliant thing that David's done is he's kind of taken the reader on that kind of a journey, and that journey is done through not only the different types of media that the clown is in, but also through the different artists that he's used. And it's not like he's used, I think it was 3 or 4 artists.
Yeah.
They're completely different, but each one of them is suited so much to the different narrative that is in the pages. The only criticism that I would have had about the book is that this felt like a one-shot. It felt like I could have just picked this up, read it, and put it aside and picked it up every so often, and I'd have been happy with it. And I'm just wondering, and this is probably why I'm going to pick up issue number 2. So I guess David's done his job here, is that does this book have anywhere else to go? Like, is it going to continue in the same theme? That's what I'm looking forward to issue 2.
I just said, I literally told my lady people are either going to hate it or find it really clever. Haha. And honestly, the way that it's been done was great. Like, I felt like when you get to the end of, I don't know, like part 1, where they come out of the cinema, and I don't want to ruin it, but the way that ends, I was like, are you serious? Are you actually serious? Like, is this, I thought that was how the comic was ending. That was it.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that to a reader, like change their emotion, like the way that they're reading, thinking, are you actually serious? Like, I've literally just read this comic and that's how it ended.
It was like 4 mini stories almost that had the connection of one character.
Yeah. And I felt like the guy coming out of the cinema saying to his missus, are you serious? Like, we've just wasted like God knows how long watching this film and it ended like that. I felt that let down when I got to that part of the comic, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
And then when you turn over and you're like, wow, that was clever. Like that, it was really clever. So David, I take my hat off to you, mate. It was really cleverly done, and it was probably one of the most enjoyable comics that I've read this year for just the whole engagement of it.
It's one of very few comics this year that has had so much anticipation and so much buzz about it, and that I've been really looking forward to. I mean, I put it up as one of my top picks on my Instagram that people should watch out for at FOC, and it didn't disappoint. And there was almost a sense of relief there. And I was the exact same as you, Charlie, at that point where the parent switches off the TV and you go, wait, what? Is that it? Like, is that all they had to do was just turn off the TV? And is that the moral of the story here that David's going for? Is that, you know, with all the bad stuff that kids watch and stuff like that, really it's up to the parents just to switch off those TVs?
I'm looking forward to. I'd love to know what Tom thought about it, because I know full well that
Tom refused to read it, I believe. I don't think Tom didn't want to read it.
David sent me the promos, and I purposely put one on our group chat just so that when he clicked on it, Tom would have had to watch it. And he was like, he went, you guys shit me up. I really didn't want to fucking watch that. And he did.
Do you know what I'd have loved to have done? See if we'd had the opportunity to do a Killer Comics cover, or you know, get one of our good friends to do the cover for one of these books. I'd have loved to have seen the Killer Comics show logo on the back of one of these books. I just thought that would have been fantastic, because this is kind of like the perfect book. I know Tom wouldn't agree because he hates clowns, but I think this is so much more than just a clown story.
Yeah, and it is. And David's just said Black Caravan premiere is a launching point to test series. I'm writing issue number 2.
Nice.
I can't wait for that. But yeah, I think it's unanimous. This was 100% a killer for me. I'm actually going to read it again in the dark.
Do you know, I 100%, I'm going to give it this. It was that good for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This could have easily been just a one-off, one-shot book that is enjoyable and everybody should go and read, just because the way that it's set up. But the fact that I know that there's another issue to this, I'm really intrigued to see how David can carry this on, because it did feel to me is that, like, okay, well, where can we go from here? But you know, it's going to go somewhere, so I'll be picking it up. But yeah, it's a killer for me, and it's a gold killer for me.
It is actually quite a hard comic to pick up. Like, I've asked a few comic book shops and stuff. I think at the moment you can only get it on Forbidden Planet, from what I know. so
And
far.
Slab City will have their cover as well.
Slab City have got their cover. But yeah, it's great. I'm really looking forward to issue number 2.
And that's why you have to pre-order, guys. That's why I do my FOC stuff on Instagram and let you guys know about these books. And some will slip under the radar, but this was one that I sort of called out from the very beginning. And also by pre-orders, it just shows the likes of Black Caravan that writers like David and stuff like that, and Jeremy who works for Image, that what they're doing is anticipated. But it's that issue 2 and issue 3 that is the important stuff to keep it going, because that means that there'll be a second volume, hopefully.
But yeah, so there's fantastic covers out there for this. The story's really great. If you do manage to get hold of a copy, just enjoy it, because there we go. Let's see. I know Diamond only has a few copies left exactly, so I would snap them up pretty quick if you can. But yes, David, well done, sir. And you and the guys at Black Caravan and Scout Comics have absolutely smashed the ball out of the park with this one. It's absolutely amazing. So thanks for that, and thanks for jumping into the chat and answering some questions and stuff. But yeah, it's great, definitely. And I like the fact that
so David can leave the chat now, and we can tell the audience what we really think about the book now. Yeah. Is that how it works now?
Yeah, no, we'll still be saying the same thing, because
exactly.
Yeah, that's 2 killers, 2 comments down, 2 killers. How things are going to change? Because up next we have Tom's pick, which is We Live, Age of the Palladions. Main cover is by Iñaki Miranda, and this is written by the Miranda Brothers, so written by Roy Miranda and the art by Iñaki Miranda. Andy, you go first, mate, because I'm done.
It was so positive as well. We were so upbeat, and so similar to the first issue. When I say the first issue, I mean the 2 issues that were the first issue that made it even more complicated to understand. This allowed me to get into We Live. So I read the first 5 issues of We Live before I read issue 1 of this, thinking, do you know what? I need to get myself set up for this. I need to get myself ready. I need to understand it. And I knew that We Live had a huge following and everybody was raving about it. So that wasn't a chore. I really enjoyed it. And I'm thankful that I did read We Live. Everybody should. We read the first issue of this and we were confused straight off the bat, because it was 2 issues for the first issue, which were 2 different issues. That on its own was enough to put me off. Plus, you had to pay for it twice, I guess, as well. And as a Scotsman, I don't like doing that. So issue 2 was a struggle for me to even allow myself to read it, because if it hadn't been for Tom picking this, I'd have dropped We Live, Age of the Palladions. I'm still fairly lost, Charlie. There's so many characters that were introduced specifically in this issue. There's so many different situations that seemed to not relate to anything that I read in the previous volume 1 of We Live. And I actually had to give up after about 10 or 12 pages and come back to it and try again. And I don't like it when I have to force myself to read a comic. And this was the first comic this year that I had to force myself to consume all the pages. And I will not be reading another issue of this. This, for me, was absolutely dreadful. And the only thing that held it up was the artwork, because the story for me is absolutely all over the place. It's unrelatable, and it just jumps from back and forward, and there's too many characters, too much to take in. And I'm really sorry to Tom that I didn't enjoy this, because I know that this was his pick and he was eager for us to read it. Just wasn't for me. I'm sorry.
David's just summed up what I felt. I felt betrayed by the final issue of We Live. Couldn't pick up the new series, right? And what Tim said, Palladions seems to be trying to scattergun approach in hope to recapture the volume 1 greatness, and is failing massively. Off the bat, massive kudos to the Iñaki brothers, the Miranda brothers, for creating We Live. We Live was amazing. Like, it totally bypassed me. I didn't pay no attention to it. I wasn't interested in it. And it's only because Tom picked issue number 1 of this that I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. This is nowhere near, when you should stop at your peak and stop trying to beat what you've done before. Unfortunately, this is what the Miranda brothers have done. They've reached their peak with We Live. this isn't nowhere near as good as it. There's nowhere like the characters are all over the place in it. The story is all over the place in it.
Charlie, could you tell me what was going on? Like, I want somebody to break it down really simply.
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on. The Palladions, I don't know. I'm so lost and bemused with what's happening. I had to do what you did, and I read it just before we come on the show again to see if it could like trigger something. It hasn't. The 2 pages that I managed to pick are the 2 most outstanding pages in the book, and when only the artwork is a saving grace of a comic, there's not much left. A comic is about like the narrative, the foretelling of a story, like grabbing the reader's attention, like the attention to gain something from it. I'm so lost, and I really feel sorry for Tom, because I think my mind was already set with issue number 1 coming out, like issue number 1 black and issue number 1 white. I was all over the place with it, and it didn't slow down.
I actually at one point thought I had continued to read Slumber issue number 2, and that this was some sort of nightmare that I was needing saved from. It was that bad. There's not been many comics where I can go, do you know what, I refuse to continue and read on. And there's not many comics that I read where I actually feel a little bit like silly that have I missed something really obvious? Should I be enjoying this a little bit more? But I think having spoken to yourself, and I'm not entirely sure if Tom got the opportunity to read this, and I'd be really interested if anybody in the chat has actually read this, and are we missing something? Because for me, it's all over the place, and I gave issue 2 probably the benefit of the doubt, and I won't be doing it for issue 3.
But the artwork, like this panel on the right hand side,
I couldn't even see the artwork, Charlie. My eyes couldn't enjoy the artwork because I was just so confused and dumbfounded by what I was reading. I just didn't understand it. The characters were all over the place, and even this character on the right hand side is not a true representation of what we experienced in the original We Live.
Well, this is it's totally different, because now we find out that he's a gorilla. And in one section of the comic, he's a gorilla, and then in the same panel, a bit further down, he's a totally different character. And you're like, how have you just gone from being a human to a gorilla, and then you've just changed back? Like, I just didn't have a clue what was going on. And I tried so hard to read this comic with an open mind and think, right, the first one was all over the place. Can this one be any better? No, it was worse. If we had a massive bin gift that we could just put this comic in on the screen, I'd be doing that now, because I won't be reading this. Like, We Live, I'm dead.
Oh, jeez. and that's the thing. Like it can't just be a coincidence that 2 of us are saying pretty much the same thing. I'd be really interested to find out what Tom thinks when he's back in, because we don't want to be over negative, but this just took the biscuit, as it were. It was just too much. If
anyone in the chat has read this, I would be interested, because obviously this is our opinion of the comic. This is what we've seen from it. So I mean, if you've got a different outlook on it and you've seen something different, let us know, because I don't think you have. I really like. I'm being honest. Like this, the panel on the right hand side is my favorite bit of the comic. Like, and it says a lot when even the favorite bit of the comic is still distorted enough to not make you enjoy the rest of it. Like, there's my
favorite bit was the relief that I felt when I swiped to the last page and I go, oh, an advert, great, that's us finished.
I didn't even get to the end. I couldn't. I was just like, no.
Are you telling me now that you made me endure it right to the end, and you didn't even have the decency to finish it? How dare you?
Oh, and look, there we go. Look. He's in. It's like he knew. I definitely stopped at the service station at the right time. This book was shit. Worst book I've read for a long time. Absolutely dire. So there we have it, people. That is Tom's pick, and he has just confirmed that it was absolutely shit, and it was the worst book he has read in a long time. Absolutely dire.
Safe travels, Tom.
Sorry for not being there with you all. Have a great show. There we go. Look, it's like the Killer Comics signal went up in the air and told Tom to pull over. So him and his wife to be have pulled over, and he's gone, I've got to check it out. And he's checked out at the right time, and he literally didn't stay for 2 seconds. He jumped back in the car and gone. That's it. But yeah, I'm so sorry to say, but if you're a fan of We Live is the cutoff point. Don't read this because it just don't do it.
And Connie, you're absolutely right. The art is absolutely beautiful, but normally a really nice artwork can hold a story and stuff like that. But when there's absolutely jumbled up, no sense to the narrative, you lose any beautiful artwork that is possibly there.
Yeah,
he held the signal.
And Sean has said, I have the original We Live series and haven't read it yet. No intention of reading this. Honestly, I don't.
The original series is absolutely fantastic. I even enjoyed the last issue, but it almost felt that we were starting to get a little bit confused at that point because you were kind of going, well, okay, what's happened here? And you almost felt like, do you know what? We trust these guys. Yeah. We'll see what happens in volume 2. They'll sort it out and we'll be back to enjoying it again. The first couple of issues of We Live are absolute perfection. It sets it up so well, but yeah, I don't know. That for me, this was a binner. Yeah,
100% binner. Now, before we move on to the next thing, let's take a look at the poll that we're doing. So, who wins cover of the week in joint?
Wait a minute. Wait, it's not. Stop. Hold on. Wait. What? 70% for Charlie and the Black Cat.
But this was already a winner at the start. Like, people were already loving that.
Wait a minute. I watched Joe's inquiry. I don't smell a cat. I smell a bloody rat. That's what I smell. A rat.
So, yeah, in joint second, it's you and Tom. And then in first place, running away with it. I'm smashing it this year. I've got to be honest. Do you know what I've done? I've taken a leaf out of your book, right? You gave me the tips last year. You was like, I've got an eye for it. And I've literally researched how you've done it because you ran away with it last year. And I've watched you. I've been peeking through the geeky guy window and I've been watching you, Andy.
Am I going to hand you over like this so-called Oracle crown that everybody keeps saying?
Oh, that was that shiver that just ran down my spine, was it?
It was like Thought Bubble all over again, wasn't it?
It was. But so that's that. But it's come to that time where we play a lovely little jingle for you all. So this is Tom's section of the show, and this is the killer covers for the upcoming week of May 3rd and May 4th. Now, up first, we have, what do we have first? We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 128. This is written by Sophie Campbell, the art by Pablo Tunica. This comes out next Wednesday, and this is by IDW Publishing. And this is a key because 2 first appearances here. We've got the first full appearance of Venus, and we have the first team appearance of Deadly New Villains, Frankenstein Turtles, seen in the cameo at the end of issue 127. Now, I haven't been reading any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Neither have I, but I just heard Frankenstein Turtles, and I'm totally sold. And I'm totally sold in this Nebula-esque cover as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But off the back of this, I am going to go back into A1 Comics tomorrow and pick up Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because they've got every issue in there. And I read that and I thought it was really good. And I didn't realise, but it is done by James Tynion.
Ah, cool.
So yeah. I will be picking up that. So yes, for all you Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lovers out there, this is a key because it has 2 first appearances. First full appearance of Venus and first team appearance of Deadly New Villains. Frankenstein Turtles, seen in a cameo at the end of the last issue. Guys, I'm not angry. I am just upset. It's fine. Okay.
True story.
What have we got next? We have Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Alpha 1. This is written by Steve Orlando and art by Paul Frey. And this is a key because it's another first appearance. This is the first team appearance of a new Cabal, is that how you say it? And possible first cameos of new 2099 versions of the Winter Soldier, Loki, and X-Men.
That really might be a key, actually, because I know a lot of the 2099 versions are really getting a push, and obviously Spider-Man 2099 is going to be in the next animated Spider-Man.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, the fact is that there's like 3 new first appearances of quite prominent players in the Marvel universe: Winter Soldier, Loki, and X-Men. So, and that cover is great as well. That looks great. So Tom again picking another awesome.
I wonder if there's any design variants for this. You know, normally you get the design
Probably
variants for
will
some
be.
of these books.
I'm sure there will be. If anyone in the if anyone knows, drop it in the chat. And what have we got up next? Up next we have this
Oh,
is
I was going to pick this one.
Metal Society issue number 1, written by Zach Kaplan, art by Marco Lesko. This is by Image Comics, and this is a key because it's a story about a future where evolved robots resurrect humans from manual labor, but eventually face opposition from a fearless human fighter and a frustrated, displaced robot. That sounds scary.
What was the book of the girls in the jungle fighting? Do you remember you really liked it? It wasn't like Fighting Girls or something, was it?
Was it Fight Club or something? No, it wasn't Fight Club. It was the French one.
Yeah, this has that kind of a feel about it, I thought, because this was going to be one of my indie picks as well, but I knew that Tom was going to pick this, so yeah, I think this might be one that kind of goes under the radar.
It was Fight Girls. That was it. Fight Girls. It was called.
Yeah.
Fight Girls. Yeah, it does kind of look like this, and I think there's quite a lot of robot comics out at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? Like robots, robots taking over the world, like battling with humans and stuff. It's all going to come true, man. I'm certain, absolutely certain. And it was Fight Girls, yeah, because I remember you loved that. You loved that. You did love that.
Couldn't get enough of it. Yeah.
You couldn't get enough of it. And last but no means least, from the man with the sexiest biceps on YouTube, we have Batman Killing Time issue number 3. This is obviously by DC Comics. This is written by the fantastic Tom King and the art by David Marquez. And this is the final key. And this is because this is the first full appearance of the Help, a character reminiscent of when Alfred became a villain, named the Outsider in Detective Comics all the way back at issue 356, which was released in 1966. So this is a pretty big comic because this is probably the first time since Alfred's died that he's been resurrected and is back in a Batman comic.
Yeah, I've missed Batman Killing Time out completely. I think there's just so many Batman books, and my brain can only handle like Jocks, and I think there's maybe one other one that I've been reading. But yeah, maybe Tom King always kicks it at the park. So.
But yeah, so that is that, and then we have what's he done? Is he gives us a no? So that's it. That is it. That's the 4. That's the 4 killer keys. They're pretty decent keys as well, to be fair. Like, I'm looking forward to this Batman one.
Yeah, well, you're a Batman fan, aren't you? You would drink up any Batman.
I love my Batman, but do you know what I love more?
What do you love more?
I like getting my rock on.
Do it. No, if that didn't blow Connie's ears off, nothing will, because it nearly blew mine off, to be honest. Killer Indies.
This is your time. This is your time to shine, Andy. This is where you take over, and I can sit.
Do you know, like, I don't like the takeover, but yeah, we'll go there. We'll go there. Before I do you know what I would just like to say, guys, and we'll mention at the end as well. The good people at the Hobgoblin Hideaway are having a claim sale this Saturday. You've heard us talk about it before. Make sure, and I'm sure one of us will drop the link into the Facebook group. Make sure that you go and join the Hobgoblins Hideaways Facebook group and join in the fun. I think it kicks off at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We'll have the cheapest chips for a couple of hours. We'll have an hour break, and then we will go straight into the big keys and the slabs and all. And I think it lasts till like 1 a.m. So it's a new night out in, if that makes sense. So make sure you go check those guys out.
And I'm just going to drop the link in the chat now. There we go.
Nice. We would have had like a sexy slide and stuff like that, but we're incredibly lazy people and we just didn't bother. But we've dropped a link, so make sure that you go and join the Hobgoblin Hideaway Facebook group. And I believe there might be a website coming soon. We might have had a sneak peek, but yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Killing Indies for May 4th. First up, we have Dogs of London, issue number 1. Guys, this is going to be the sleeper key for me. I think this book by Aftershock Comics, written by Peter Milligan and an art by Artisida. I'm committing there. No idea if it's a male or female, but I imagine their artwork is absolutely superb if this cover is anything to go by. The synopsis reads, how deep must you bury a body to make sure it doesn't haunt you? Frank and Terry are about to find out. They were once members of the Dogs, a feared gang who ruled much of London's underworld back in the swinging 60s. They thought they'd escaped their troubled pasts, but the past isn't dead. It's just bashed about a bit and very pissed off. Spanning different times and classics, Dogs of London is a brutal, bloody tale of violence, love, revenge, and sleeping dogs who refuse to roll over and play dead. Whoever came up with that synopsis needs to take the proverbial cap off, because I think that sounds absolutely superb, and I will definitely be picking up issue 1. Charlie, what do you think?
That synopsis is how a synopsis should be written.
And I think I've done it justice with my gritty Scottish accent as well.
That is awesome. Do you know the only thing about this is that when I'm looking at this, I'm getting reminiscences of, as Sean's just said, another dog book, and it's very much like, what's his name? The Keanu Reeves.
Oh yes. And who does that? Who's the?
I can't remember.
Oh, that's going to annoy me because I don't think it's Aftershock, is it?
No, but it's like it. Yeah, that's it. That is it. That's well said, Sean. Thank you very much. It looks like a horror version.
Good boy. That's it.
It does, and it does. And I think he looks like Good Boy. It does. But he's clearly not a good boy because he's holding a knife covered in blood. But
the thing is, I think you're right. I think you could pick that synopsis. You could pick any animal, but I like the sound of this one, and I think it might be one of those sleeper keys. So
I don't think there are actually dogs in this one. Ooh, that's interesting.
No, I'm totally confused, David. You've literally blew my mind now.
Thanks for just dropping that mic on there.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother anymore. There's no dogs in it.
No, it does look, I just love the fact that they got like Tower Bridge and everything behind them. I think that's great.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So that's Dogs of London issue number 1 by Aftershock Comics. Next up, we have Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, issue number 1. This is by Opus, which I've never heard of.
So joyful with the comic covers and
listen, it's just a little bit of an insight into my mind. So sit back, relax, strap yourself in, boys and girls. So this is Opus, which is a completely new company that I've never heard of, even as much as we didn't have the logo in our Google Drive. Charlie, so and I was like, is this a comic shop or is it some guitar or is it? I don't know. So Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer issue number 1 is written by Mitch Iverson, and the artwork is by Luis Antonio Delgado and Stefano Martino. The synopsis reads, now Frank Frazetta, everybody knows Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer back in the day. It returns into life in collaboration with Frazetta Girls, critically acclaimed animation writer Mitch Iverson, and joins the world-renowned artist Stefano Martino and Luis Antonio Delgado, who apparently done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, didn't know that, to bring you the first salvo in a major launch of a new related titles featuring characters envisioned by the master himself. Bear witness to the beginning of an entire multiverse of Frazetta's most famous creations. So this sounds really interesting. If you know the backstory to Death Dealer and stuff like that, I think this could just be kind of a new spin on those stories. But I think the artwork is stunning on these. What do you think, Charlie?
I think I haven't read any Death Dealer before, and I don't think it would be something that I'd read. But if you read it and you say it's good, then I'll take your word for it, and I'll probably give it a read. But off the bat, it's not something I think I'd.
Would it be something that would tickle your fancy, as it were?
No, I don't think he looks like he'd tickle anything.
Well,
if I'm being honest.
Next up, this might tickle you then. We've got Little Monsters, issue number 3.
100%.
Segue. We've got Jeff Lemire on writing and Dustin Yen on artwork. Okay.
I thought it was Derek. Derek Yu, isn't it?
Exactly. Listen, we've had a variety of different interpretations of this, but we've got there, I think, I hope. So having finally feasted on real blood, Billy is acting strangely, and the other young vampires are nervous about the potential threat to their sanctuary. Ronnie is still missing from the group, but is accompanied elsewhere by a mysterious new friend. So we've been enjoying the first couple of issues of this. The artwork is fantastic, and I'm all in for issue number 3. What about yourself, Charlie?
100%. I think. Jeff Lemire, like he's a lot. I've loved him since like Family Tree, and then he did Maze Book, and then he's done this. But just the detailing on this. I mean, look at Billy's face with the background and like the holographic of the buildings and stuff like that. Last issue took a turn, and I think we knew it was going to take that turn. And I'm really interested to see how this goes on, because Jeff Lemire doesn't do things by halves. Like he grips you with the emotion, and then he just keeps hold of you. So I think this is going to be another one that you're just going to be hooked on, and you just think you've done it again.
Here's a question for you and for the chat. So Panels and a Half Pint is saying he loves dogs, but he's all doggied out. If Sean was a dog, what dog would it be? I'm going to go with Chihuahua.
I'd say a pug.
Pug. Oh, moving on.
Answers in the chat, please. There we go.
Answers in a postcard. Speaking of Sean, we've got Twig issue number 1 from Image Comics. Sean, I love you, Sean. I love you. This is written by Scotty Young, and art is by Kyle Stram. And this is the book that has 1,342,424 different variant covers and stored exclusives. Go check it out in League of Comic Geeks. There is so many there. But this is another Scotty Young written book. And the synopsis reads, it's the first day of Twig's new job as a journeyer. What you're laughing at, I'm going to pause.
It's just Twig. Like it's Twig's new job. I'm like, it's Twig.
Sean is that Sean is debating that he's cuter than a Chihuahua.
Can I just say one thing? If a few times we've mentioned at Thought Bubble, Sean put down his books on this woman's table and didn't know. If you want to know what his face looked like after we told him to move his books, look at Twig.
If anybody's any good at Photoshop, could they put Sean's face on Twig? That would be fantastic. Listen, I'm not even going to read the synopsis for this because I really honestly can't be bothered. So just go and pick this up. I have a feeling that I might pick this as my pick of the week for that week. So Twig
it looks great. Like I'm really looking forward to this. Like this has been on the radar for a good few months now.
Feels like Canto. Feels a little bit Canto-esque.
It does.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people expect it to be Scotty Young doing the art. But Scotty Young's also a fantastic writer as well. If you look at Strange Academy.
Yeah.
If you look at Strange Academy, he's done I Hate Fairyland as well. So it's another string to his bow that I think goes unthought about, unnoticed, because I think people are like, oh, Scotty Young, his art covers. I'll pick up his covers and stuff like that. He's a great writer as well. And I think big things are expected for this, and I think it's going to be good, I reckon. So
this has all the sort of makings of like a almost like a Twig universe been created here, because all these characters look as if
a tree,
like a forest, if you will. That's Twig issue number 1. We're having far too much fun tonight. What's going on? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Where's my little thingy bob to scan?
I thought I was going to take it off because it took us to Tesco's last week.
Listen, what's wrong with Tesco's? I can change it to Asda or any other retail.
All right, well, we'll do that. Next week, we'll have them back in. Next week, we'll have our QR codes. And if anyone's looking for any Super Saver tips, just scan mine, Andy, or Tom's things, and it will take you to, I don't know, like a go compare.
Guys,
website.
Go and follow me, please, if you will, on Instagram at perpetual.comics. I'm nearly at 1,000 followers, which is really cool and really appreciated. And I'm also on Twitter at perpetual comics. That was the indie picks. Thank you.
ABZ has just said, looks like Jar Jar has had his babies.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, there we go. And David has said, you think more or less than 76 variants from Stray Dogs Days issue number 1. That was ridiculous. I think they're on like the 175th print at the moment. There we go. Look, Connie's favourite part of the show. This is the killer trades. And there we go. And we have Double O. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome. I think I saw at least 65 variants for Twig. I also think Luke from Hydra Collectibles see about 1,652 when he was walking through the forest the other day. So who knows? There might have been a few fair variants there as well. Luke, let us know if you did. But this is the killer trades for May 3rd and 4th of next week. So up first, we have Annihilation. This is the Annihilation Omnibus hardcover. This is 880 pages. That's a mammoth $125. Various artists, various writers. This is Marvel's Cosmic Superstars return in an explosive widescreen sci-fi style. Annihilus, Lord of the Negative Zone, has declared war, and as his unstoppable annihilation wave swarms into the Marvel Universe,
Lord of the Negative Zone?
Lord of the Negative Zone.
Is that not James?
No,
Comic deal?
Is Comic Deal here? I don't know.
He is Lord of the Negative Zone.
This is basically Quasar's leading his army into the charge, but as all heroes fail and Annihilus rises, the universe's one remaining hope may be Thanos, the Mad Titan. Wow. Why didn't they just start with that? Annihilus rises, the universe's one remaining hope may be Thanos, the Mad Titan. I'd be all for that instead of reading a paragraph before it.
It's just a lot of pages. It's 880 pages. It's a lot of money. I just don't think I'm going to bother, Charlie, to be honest.
It is an omnibus, isn't it? And the likes of like Dino, and you've got Phil Nerdiverse and stuff. This is right up their alley. But it's interesting. But it's really weird. I could read 15 issues of a comic, but I couldn't sit and read 880 pages like straight off the bat. Boom, 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 boom. Do you know what I mean? I'd get bored.
Yeah.
So
no,
that's why I think my little mind isn't ready for omnibuses yet.
You prefer the train?
I prefer the train, yeah. So there we go. Oh, one for you, Andy.
Oh, yes, this is my pick. This is Star Wars The High Republic Volume 3. This is the Jedi's End trade paperback. 182 pages, and it's going to come in about 15, 16 quid there or thereabouts. Written by the fantastic Charles Soule and art by Cavan Scott. So this collects Star Wars The High Republic issues 11 to 15 and Star Wars The High Republic Eye of the Storm issue number 1 and 2, which had those fantastic Ryan Brown covers for the floppies. So I have been stacking all these again. Seems to be a sort of resurgence in Star Wars High Republic. Lots of people picking up the back issues because of various first appearances. And I believe that Star Wars Celebration is going to be coming soon. And apparently they are reissuing Star Wars issue number 1. And normally they only do that if there's big news that's coming down. Okay. So pick up your Star Wars issue number 1s, first, second, third print, whatever it may be, because you might see a spike in those.
This, I think I would jump onto a Star Wars trade paperback. I think like the individual comic, like, you talk about Batman, there's so many Batman comics. There's so many Star Wars comics. There's Star Wars Darth Vader. There's Star Wars Crimson Reign. There's Star Wars Dr. Aphra. There's so many. And do you know what I mean? I think we've spoken numerous times about where's the good starting point, and I'm still lost. I'm more lost than I was.
I think if you've not started yet, then yeah, you'll definitely find it difficult. But what I would maybe suggest is if there's a character in Star Wars that you like, for instance, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's an Obi-Wan Kenobi run coming out. It's only going to be 5 issues. That would be worth picking up. And obviously you've got Mandalorian and Boba Fett. You can't go wrong with those guys. Yeah.
And it is true, yeah, Star Wars does seem like a complete rabbit hole. It does. Here we go. Thor.
That's me?
No, this was mine. I just picked, Thor, the complete Jason Aaron collection, volume 5, trade paperback, 496 pages at $39.99. So probably you're looking at about £34. Jason Aaron, written by Jason Aaron and various art. The myth-making climax of Jason Aaron's legendary run. I think we can agree it was a legendary run. Donny Cates is absolutely smashing it with his run at the moment, but for me, it doesn't really come close to Jason Aaron. And this is basically the Odin son has regained the mantle, but Mjolnir has been destroyed. And then it's the conflict between Thor and his dad and everything else. And this is collecting from 2018 issues 1 to 6 and King Thor issue 1 to 4. This basically tells, at the end of time, witness the final fate of the ancient King Thor as he encounters a very old friend and faces his hated adopted brother Loki one last time. Jason Aaron and artist Esad Ribic. You reunite for this epic conclusion.
This is the sort of book that, Charlie. This is the sort of book I think that Triple G would be all over.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big Thor fan, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely think, I think he's going to do well. I mean, like, having looked at the previous ones, like volume like 1 to 4, they've done exceedingly well. Thanks. If you started reading High Republic from the beginning, 15 issues, it's kind of like a fresh start. Thank you very much.
That's actually a good point from Double O. It's definitely worth maybe considering starting to read that, because it is, as he says, a fresh start, loads of new characters, and it feels quite fresh. You don't need to be bogged down and know the back story of everything else that's went on.
I just want to give a shout out to Double O because I think it's a very amazing play on words. Double O, but his logo is 2 zeros. Great.
And a new watcher, I believe. I haven't seen Double O.
No, I haven't. So
welcome.
Thank you very much for joining and dropping knowledge bombs as well. That's always great. Batman, The Dark Knight Detective, volume issue number 6, trade paperback, 320 pages, $24.99. Various writers, various artists. Again, with DC, these are available. They release on a Tuesday, but you can't pick them up until the Wednesday. I was in the Traveling Man on Tuesday, went to pick up some comics because I see that was new out, and I was like, no, they're not out till tomorrow. You can look at them, but don't touch. I was like, well, why would you do that? It's like a comic strip club. What are you doing that for? Do you know what I mean? Why would you put it out?
Wait a minute. Have you been to many of those, Charlie? Do tell.
Comic strip clubs, yeah. Been quite. Anyway, uncover the mysteries of which perpetrators are claiming to be Batman, bizarre disasters, persuasive killers, the Golem of Gotham story arc, and much more, featuring classic Gotham characters, iconic Bat gadgets, and new versions of the Case of the Chemical Syndicate to celebrate the Dark Knight's 600 appearances of Batman, guys. This collects Detective Comics 622 to 633. 600 appearances of Batman. That is just...
It's just never ending.
It's not. It really, really isn't, is it? But that is the end. That is the end. That's the last Killer Trades.
Gee, that was the beautiful segue there. See what I did there?
It was great. So then we come on to this part of the show. There we go. So let's take a look at it. So, Andy, this is unfamiliar territory. In third place, we've got Andy with the Justice League at 14%.
You try something new, Charlie. You go with a different type of cover. They take the mickey out you for the way that you say Jenny Frison. You don't pick a Jenny Frison cover. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You go for a Justice League cover.
You can't win. You just can't win, clearly. So in third place is your lovely self with Andy with 14%. Tom is in second position with Spider-Gwen at 17%. And I've got an amazing number 69. Winning 69%. It is the Art Germ Black Cat Collectibles comic cover. So that will be added to the score sheet. And that's another win for me. So that's not. We're not going to do any more of that. There we go. So that's it. We're on week 16. We've got a long way to go. I'm going to have to add another slide.
That's the problem, Charlie. That's what I'm anticipating. Like, there's only so much space on that poor slide that you can have for all your wins.
There we go. Look. Week 11, Catwoman 51. Adam Hughes Homar's cover is a cracker. There we go. Look, so week 11. Who was that? Oh, that was me.
That was you, Charlie. Yeah. Okay, ABZ. Okay.
Oh, but I didn't realise that. I thought he was telling us another comic cover that someone could have picked this week.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, and week 11, the Harley Quinn one is extortionate. If I could get hold of that, I would love to. But it's just.
I think I seen Shane Dawn of Comics pick that up.
Yeah, he did. Not jealous at all.
I'm just happy you've got 2 jock covers in your winners there. So
and a Rose Besh as well. I love a Rose Besh. So anyway, that's the Killer cover. So next week we are on to the Killer Comics show sneak peek for next week. Is up first. We've got, this was Tom's pick. This is Batman Beyond the White Knight issue number 2. Not much more we can say about this. There we go. Look, Sean Murphy is creating his Batman Murphy verse. For me, it's one of the best Batman verses out there. This story, if you haven't read it yet, issue number 1 was great. issue number 2 is really great. I've read it already, and I'll tell you what, the ending was just like, oh, did not see that coming.
Oh, really?
Pleasantly surprised, and I thought I can't wait to review this comic next week because the ending, excuse my French, is fucking awesome. Just gonna say that. So yes, look forward to that. If you are reading it, make sure you read it and join us in the chat next week. It's going to be a good one. I've gone for Rogues number 2.
I'm so happy. Yes, I'm so
happy.
Are
you really?
Yeah, I loved Rogues one. I thought it was great.
I know, and I didn't think you was going to like it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Like this cover, I see this in Forbidden Planet today, and I was like, do I pick it up? But then I wanted to pick up the Leo Max variant cover that he's done as well, because that's amazing. I don't know. I love the fact that like Gorilla Grodd is on this cover, and I haven't done it justice because it is a magazine sized comic, but yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this, and I'm surprised. I was really surprised when we read it and you liked it, but
I loved it.
Get in, and then your pick, Little Twiggy.
Twiggy, oi. Yes, I went for Twig. I'm intrigued to see if it lives up to what everybody's saying, and there must be a reason why there's 1 billion covers for it. So if it's half as good as what Canto was, then we'll be on to a good one here. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Twig issue number 1 is all about.
And that bottom panel of the comic on the right hand side, that's what Sean looked like when he got his 9.8 from his latest CGC. I'm going on an adventure.
Listen, speaking of CGC, I just checked my account today, and they received the books that I had sent off for myself, Sean, and James on the 18th of April, and they're getting graded as we speak and encapsulated. So it's literally only been with them for 10 days, and they're already grading it. So things definitely seem to have picked up. I don't know if that's a good thing, if it's going to come back with like bits of plastic in here and stuff like that, but hopefully we'll be doing a bit of a CGC reveal at some point.
Oh, great. It's always great. I love that. Always great. Yeah. You never know. I might actually send some off and get a 9.8 for me sending it off instead of you sending it off for me. But some little velvet fingers you've got, them little velvet twigs. Anyway, on that note, it's the end of the show. Thank you to every single person that has been with us in the chat tonight. Every single week, you make doing this enjoyable. So thank you for that. Andy, always a pleasure, mate. I love talking to you every single day, every single minute, every single week. I'll talk to you even more than I do Michelle, my wife, but it's always a pleasure.
Listen, absolutely. No, it's great. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have Tom back as well. And we can have the proper Killer Comic Show crew doing their thing. And yeah, thanks to the chat. Thanks to everybody that voted for me. Thanks to everybody that's given a thumbs up. Thanks to everybody that subscribes. Make sure that anybody that's in the chat, if they've got a channel, go and sub them up and watch some of their content. Just enjoy the rest of your week and be kind.
And thanks to everyone spreading the love, whether it's like sharing the promos on the social and stuff like that. It's always great. But I just want to leave just before we go for all you little lovers out there of clowns. I'm just going to play it one more. That should be our outro every week. That should be our outro.
Yeah, because we're getting cancelled.
Yes, that's it. But there we go. AB says, smash that like button. Thank you very much. Leon Russell, if it makes you feel any better, Andy, I've just ordered that Justice League cover, and
honestly, Leon, no, it doesn't.
Bye, guys. I'll hit you up about that Peach Momoko variant if I'm on a struggle bus. there we go, guys. Tom's not here, so I'll leave Andy with the catchphrase this week. Andy, what do we say?
What did we say again?
Night, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. See you later.
See ya.